Reassuring the masses, the manager of suites seems surprised to see you up and about.
Oh, sir, you're awake. You were injured during the foray on Mount Gull, yes? I was here at my station, as always, when they carried you in on a makeshift stretcher looking disturbingly bereft of vigor. And to compound my worry, the sky has... well, I'm sure you've seen. It has everyone rather concerned, to say the least. Seeing you up and about is the first good news we've had in a while. Assuming you feel strong enough, would you mayhap consider a stroll around the city to reassure our anxious citizens?
I guess.
Bragi was one of those who helped convey you to your chambers, and he has visited several times since to inquire after your condition.
Bragi! Aww!
Well, look who's back from the dead. It was a grim sight. Your companions looked fair ready to drop when they brought you in, so I offered a helping hand. Couldn't bear to see them struggle so. And you, my friend, I feared you had one foot in the grave. Cold and lifeless you were, like a corpse that was somehow still breathing. Then they told me some evil bastard went and snatched our poor Exarch away in the midst of the chaos. Wicked white, what is this world coming to?
They neglected to tell you got shot in the back.
But moaning never solved a thing, did it? Nay, it's times like these that we Crystarium folk stand tall and do what needs to be done. Trade with Yulmore is back on the table. We'd best make use of those resources to fortify the city against the Eaters, or whatever misery the fate deems fit to throw at us next. Speaking of misery, Chesamil was worried sick about you. A healer bringing a hand is not a sight you ever wish to see, let me tell you.
Okay.
Oh, sweetie, you're alive. No one's been allowed to see you. Even Spagarix? Chiruji, I don't ever remember how to pronounce it. We're forbidden. Healers, we're forbidden from making visits. Reen was kind enough to tell me you were showing symptoms similar to Eater corruption. So I suppose there was little any of us could have done for you in any case. As for your companions, they've been rushing hither and yon, seeking a cure for your condition. I worry to see their faces grown ever more haggard every time they pass through the Crystarium. I shall let them know you're awake, but when they come to see you, sweetie, please do convince them to rest a bit. They won't be helping anyone if they all collapse from exhaustion. And our own Morin has been a little better, I'm afraid. He hasn't left the cabinet. Too busy with his nose buried in one dusty tome or another.
I had to double take, because I'm like, he's doing a little better, but you're afraid? And I realized I just read it wrong.
Confound it. This is the same thing as the last. Mayhap I should approach the problem from a different perspective. Cat, is it truly you and not some figment of my imagination? Oh, but this is wonderful. It would seem our prayers have been answered. Feeling otherwise helpless, I've been scouring our shelves for the wisdom to explain this most worrisome conundrum. Why, with all the Light Wardens defeated, has the light returned to obscure the sky? I must have pored over 100 tomes, but no definitive conclusion seems forthcoming. So many questions I would pose to the Exarch, and thus do I feel his absence all the more keenly. Now that you're awake, however, I am hopeful the search for our stolen steward might begin in earnest. Katniss, meanwhile, leads the crystalline mean in preparations for battle, though against what foe we are as yet uncertain. Why not pay her a visit? I expect seeing you upright would be a much welcome relief.
It's me. I'm the problem, it's me.
Cat, alive and well, I see. You gave us all a proper fright, you know that? Not a day's gone by that I haven't heard folk worrying what's to come for you or the Exarch. Anyway, I'm glad you've recovered enough to stand. You're not planning on striking out right straight away, though, are you? I was hoping to have a better look at your equipment. If we'd been able to provide you with better weapons or sturdier helms, then maybe you would have won the day, and the Exarch would still be here. As such, we're keeping busy consulting each other on new foraging techniques and designs and the like. If you could stand still a moment, I'd like to assess the gear we're trying to improve.
Okay. Are you telling me that my wife's crafted gear for level 90 isn't the best gear?
Aye, well, that's some fine work, I must admit. It wouldn't be impossible to make something better, but we need to experiment with different patterns and materials, and I'm not sure we have that kind of time.
That sounds like a challenge that he would enjoy.
Hello?
It's him.
I don't remember who he is. Greetings, Gilnard. Glinard. The master of the stairs is running his own errands now, is he?
Aye, well, my servers are distraught enough as it is, and I didn't want to crack the whip too hard. But never mind that. I'm thinking our absent genius and his epiphanies are the perfect answer to this predicament of yours.
And by genius, you mean old Grinold? He is a man of unrivaled gifts. I won't argue with you there. But what good does his talent do us if we can't bloody find him? No one's seen hide nor hair of Grinold since he wandered off some years ago. You know what he's like once he latches onto an idea. He's probably cloistered himself in some forgotten cave, completely absorbed in his latest creation. I wouldn't even know where to start looking.
That does make things difficult. Still, if that eccentric is someone you're destined to meet, I wager he'll show up soon enough. In my time at the bar, many's the tale I've heard told of strangely fated encounters, even if a few of them might be stretching the truth just a bit.
We'll keep our noses to the grindstone for the time being. But on the off chance you do encounter Grinold, you'd be wise to take advantage of his brilliance rather than wait on our slow and steady progress. This is all talk for when you're fully recovered, of course. I'll let you get back to convalescing, eh?
Before you do that, you're actually the reason I came over here in the first place. I don't suggest partaking of my stock until you're properly well, but if you're passing near the stairs, then I've a regular who's eager to see you. I'd best be getting back. Just because the world's coming apart at the seams doesn't mean we have to follow suit now, does it?
Hear, hear. We can't forget the heart upon which this city was founded, nor the Exarch might not have much a home to return to.
I look so sad. Wall emo times? In his garden, Catelys looks at you with a concerned eye.
Cat, are you all right? I think a return to your sickbed might be in order. Or you might consider resting a while atop the watchtower next to the rookery. This damnable sky doesn't make for the most soothing scenery, but the Exarch often liked to stand there and feel the wind upon his face.
Oh, you gonna make me sad?
I was gonna make fun of that weird-ass suggestion, but then she explained it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair. All right. Destination.
Oh.
Someone else is doing it with me. Hey.
The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight. I can imagine how torn you must feel. looking at that sky, knowing what it means to everyone, and that you're responsible.
Secrecy is worse. I'd rather people knew. I still can't believe it's coming from me. It's all such a mess. I would say the secrecy is worse.
If you're thinking of coming clean, don't. It might make you feel better, but it would make things 100 times worse for them. They're better off not knowing. You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out. But that doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet. I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then the Oracle appeared and... well, you know the rest. There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen. That we'd made one last mistake. But seeing that giant Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had. Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one. To think that their hope still burned so bright. That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive.
You are not fist bumping me right now, are you?
Well, come on then.
Two bros chilling on a balcony.
As I thought. What happened between us was no coincidence. My story may be finished, but the fates have gifted me a minor role in yours. I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me. But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood. I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse.
Sir, can you turn off that light while we're talking, though? Because it's a little blinding.
But no longer. After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish. For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours. If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you. So, let us be about it, hero.
said you weren't here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie.
Because they can't see him. They think we're losing it a little bit, probably.
Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours.
Oh, they can see that.
My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you? Shall I yield up my throne? You could claim it, cut ties with the mortal world, hide away in the castle.
But then the light would still be there, right? Doesn't solve anything.
It won't fix the problem.
Yeah.
But would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic, all of Il Meg will rise up in your defense.
Aww.
My crown and scepter are yours, if you want them. What? Don't give me that look! Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion. And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower? Oh, my dear beloved sapling, you are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits. Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment, at this time, in this place. Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow. See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue. You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
That was a bit ominous. Aw, Fuel.
Oh, I did not expect to see you on your feet so soon. Surely you have not come in search of an Amaro?
No.
What do I know of the Crystal Exarch? I'm happy to share, but I fear there will be no surprising revelations. As any in this city could tell you, he is a man of wisdom and compassion and many untold secrets. But none can doubt his generosity. When the Crystarium was being constructed, he even allowed folk to plunder the tower for resources. He has imposed no restrictions upon us but one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons past, a comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, "Because one day the Crystal Tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived."
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, was there something else you needed? If you've come for the results of my research into this persistent light, I'm afraid there's little to tell as of yet.
I would like you to tell me about the Exarch.
Records pertaining to the Exarch? Well, I need no documentation to relay what little I know of his history, if that is what interests you. Less than a decade had passed since the coming of the Flood when the Crystal Tower first flashed into existence. Its summoner, the Exarch himself, became known to the refugees in Lakeland soon thereafter. He welcomed all who sought out the spire, be they locals who had lost their homes or Voberites fleeing their ruined kingdom, and together did they found the city which would become the Crystarium. Some thought to call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of royal address. Thus did the people consider his scintillating skin so alike to the tower he had summoned and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, 'twould seem that it is a mystery that remains unsolved to this day.
I do wonder why he didn't want to share his name.
Cat, it is good to see you awake and alert, my friend. What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can tell you, considering we avoid asking too many questions. Unspoken rule and all that. If anyone has fresh insights to share, then it'd be Captain Lena, I'd say.
That's a good point.
She lost her parents to an eater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch saw to her upbringing. Outward appearances aside, those two are like grandfather and granddaughter. I imagine the news of his predicament hit her doubly hard. Not that our proud captain would ever let it show. If you do decide to talk to Lena, she'll be at her usual post at the Ascensor Gate.
Oh, I don't want to be sad. Oh, cussing. Cat, I was not told you had awoken. A welcome surprise. Now, if only the Exarch has turned to us. He was taken by this rival of yours, was he not? Your companions mentioned that they had an idea of where to find him, and so I bristled when they asked for patience. I did not understand their hesitation until I saw that you had fallen. Only then did I realize that I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, the delay has been no less agonizing. In the moments before he left to join you in Calusia, the Exarch entrusted me with a key. It opens the door to the Ocular, a chamber known as the Umbilicus. This room is the heart of the tower, unto which only the Exarch himself is permitted to enter. He bid me allow none into the tower once he had departed. Only in the event that an army of sin-eaters descended upon the city was I to access the Umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier. Never before had he left me with such instructions, but the battle with Vothri loomed near, and at the time I accepted the key without much thought. Since then, however, that moment is all that occupies my mind. When I recall the look upon his face, he knew that some terrible fate awaited him. Tell me, Cat. I need to know what he feared. What battle you and your companions are truly fighting. Forgive me. I trust in the Exarch, and I should not be voicing these doubts when he is not here to respond to them personally. But you have come to me with a question of your own, have you not? Ah, I see. I'm not the only one who burns for answers. The time has come to open the tower's heart. Though we do not face an invasion of eaters, I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek.
Aww. Oh, that's why it's called In His Garden. Aww. My freaking heart. Okay.
The unbroken thread. Lena urges you to follow her. Come, meet me at the ocular, and I will unlock the door within.
Okay.
Master Cat, the captain said to expect you.
Let's enter.
Oh shit, that's
I have unlocked the door to the umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
That's a lot of books. Get to reading.
A moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then. By thy claims, thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the 8th umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star. Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow, I am sure.
I doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Certainly. But where to begin? I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity. Sid Garland being perhaps the greatest.
Aww.
In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions. One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures. It proposed a method by which one could enter the River of Time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice. But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery and misery and murder. People cried out in despair, "There is no hope! We are finished! Mankind is finished." Then others raised their voices in answer. Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass. The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Sid's research and labored to realize those impossible ideas. After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me. By this stage, scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th Umbral Calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Sid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou effect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the Source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous. Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity. Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Sid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict. To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward. 'Tis a hard thing to ask. Harder still for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was him. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread. Where others would stumble and fall, he would rise above. Where others would break and run, he would carry on. The warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow. In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally. In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were his deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little surprise that the plan found no shortage of volunteers, concerning as it did the warrior of light himself. It was their chance to add their own verse to the hero's saga. He was the lodestar that brought them all together, to send their final message back through time and space to him. The light of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. Burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
Wherefore sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First. Your actions showed uncommon resolve. 'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world. I knew I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me, but in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity, and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity, and make of it a portent. A prophetic vision you beheld in the swirling chaos of the Rift.
Is this truly thy wish?
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would. And I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course. I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
Accomplice? Ooh.
Careful now. If you lose control again, the Light could claim you for good. Although it's probably only a matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case.
That's a weird shot.
What do you mean to do?
I mean to hunt down Emma Silk. I mean to rescue the Exarch. And I mean to have a few words with both Emma and the Exarch. I'll say I mean to rescue the Exarch.
Wait, you're not picking the threesome?
Then we should be on our way. Diasian mentioned the Tempest, did he not? That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere, hidden beneath the waves.
Aww. Yeah. Did you find the answers you sought? If there is nothing more you need, I will go and lock the door. I have questions about the Tempest. The Tempest? That is the name given to the seas by which Calusia is bound. If you make a request to the Tamers, they will provide you with an Amaro to fly over the waters, but... Do you mean to leave right at this moment? Alone? I am not sure that. Nay, I will not seek to stop you. Go with the blessings of the Shadow, and I shall wait your safe return. Okay.
You require an Amaro? Just a moment, and I shall saddle our swiftest beast to fly you to the island. The open water, to the depths of the Tempest. Our Amaro can swim, yes, but to reach the ocean floor...
They must be magical. I don't know, all my mounts can swim underwater. Oh, uh-oh.
Ah, we have found thee.
It's just a bad migraine, I swear.
Word reached us of thy recovery, and thus did we gather with all haste. Ah. By thy looks, I gather thou hast gleaned that which I came to tell thee.
Urianger has shared everything with us. The Exarch's true identity and purpose.
I offer no excuses. When I agreed to aid the Exarch with his plans, 'twas in full acceptance of the condemnation I would face when my duplicity was laid bare. Yet it is not rancor, but resolve that I sense in thee. Thou art fully intent upon walking thy path to its end, art thou not? If thou canst forgive my deception, or, failing that, set aside thy displeasure for a time, I do beg leave to follow thee. What strength and wisdom I possess are thine to command.
I forgive you, let's go. I am a danger to those around me, or no more lies. All of them. I do feel bad for Urianger, though.
It's not the first time he's fucking lied to everyone.
So you're saying I should say no more lies?
Yeah.
Okay. No more lies, okay? I know he was kind of backed into a corner by the Exarch for that.
Pray believe me when I say that I took no pleasure in deceiving thee.
I know.
Indeed, I curse the circumstances which compelled me to do so. But no further secrets lie between us, I swear it.
I'm sorry, but I don't think this is a good idea. Leaving the Crystarium, I mean, with or without Urianger. What I did for you won't last forever. There's no telling when the light will break free again.
We are in public.
Please, you must stay here. At least for a little while longer. We will find a way to cure this, I promise you.
How can you make promises? We don't even know where to start.
Alize, please. You know Reen was only trying to help.
Of course I know! I know only too well! But making promises you have no way of keeping is not a kindness. It's a lie. Plain and simple. We've all searched high and low for an answer, and every one of us came back empty-handed. I am not about to stand in his way now. Not after failing him in his hour of need. No! The least we can do is...
We will go with you as well. There is naught to be gained by standing still.
Indeed, we have exhausted every other avenue. Lead, and we shall follow. If there is any hope to be found, then we will surely find it at your side.
Are we all in agreement then?
Is there aught we can do to help?
Though we may not know the whole story, we do know you're in for a fight. And while the Exarch's away, it falls to the rest of us to see the Warrior of Darkness is given a proper send-off.
You told them!
No! Well, not in so many words.
Aye, we didn't need it spelled out for us. When the night sky appeared over whichever place you went to, it was harder not to put two and two together.
From the moment I heard that you and the Exarch shared the homeland, I had my suspicions. Long had he been waiting for a certain someone to arrive, and I knew at once that it must be you.
Exactly.
When he went up to meet you, 'twas clear it was no ordinary visitor. That spring in his step spoke volumes. I could feel his excitement.
Me too! That's right!
Here, here!
We do not fully understand where you or the Exarch hail from, or why you've all done so much to protect us. But we are deeply grateful nonetheless. So, if there is anything at all we might do to aid your journey, you need only name it. What would you have of us?
You might have invited them to join us, where they're not so many. But come, they are waiting. What is your will, O warrior of darkness?
Defend the Crystarium until we return. Leave it to us. We'll see the Exarch home safe and sound, or hope for the best but prepare for the worst. I'll say defend the Crystarium until we return. I don't want to make promises. Just like Alice said. That was fucking cute. Oh my god. Well then let's finish this real quick.
Thou didst plan to commandeer an Amaro for thy journey to the open sea. I fear the following dive down unto Imot Silk's underwater abode would drain even thy legendary stamina. Thus, during thy convalescence, we considered the most efficacious method for reaching the depths of the Tempest, and I believe we have arrived at an elegant solution. Yet ere we discuss this step, I suggest thou dost conclude such pressing business as remains to thee in the Crystarium. Once the sea closeth above our heads, we are unlikely to surface again until our grand deed is done.
Alright. Da 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 da.